Okay guys, welcome to a new type of video we're doing on the channel. This is going to be called a sequence breakdown. So what we're looking at here is we've got a CTF game on Empyrean. The MMR of this game is about 1500, so we're talking like top end Diamond 6 or bottom end Onyx. You'd be very surprised at what happens in this because of the way we play to the other team. But it's a pretty intense game. We're way far into a CTF game. It's overtime, it's tied 0-0. And the round's been going for a while, and suddenly we end up at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch the sequence play out, and I'm not going to say anything. And then we're going to go back and we're going to break down why things happened the way that they did as much as we can. And the point of this is to help you to recognize these scenarios better, to help position yourself better with respect to your teammates, and also to teach you how to manipulate spawns and use positioning to end up in an advantageous state to pull the flag and win the game. So let's get on with watching this sequence. He killed himself.
Nice. Our long hole here. I think.
Oh, middle.
Yeah, got shots on him, He's archery in a pit. Archery in a pit over here somewhere.
One bed.
On ping.
I need help on P2.
I'm sword here.
Get out my face.
One shot and sword.
All dead.
Oh,
They're gonna
spawn in top.
Yeah.
Spawn in top.
How about that? Yeah, just
One's Butts. Dead. All dead.
All dead. Go. I got it.
Let's go.
I got it. Watch, cover me. I'm getting shot. I'm dead.
I'm shooting.
I'm dead. Someone get a flag.
I thought I died. Long hole. They're gonna get through.
GG boys. Fucking hell.
Nice. Well played, lads.
Victory.
So as you can see there was quite a bit of an exchange. There was a few kills, there was a few rounds of respawns, and then we pulled the flag and we ran it top. So if we go right back to the beginning of this, we're going to try and break down step by step as much as we can why things ended up the way they did. So if you enjoy this type of video, remember to leave a like so I know you want more. And if you found anything that I missed, or if there's anything you feel like you could explain to other viewers, please put it in the comment section as well. As I always say in my own videos, I never pretend to be the fountain of knowledge that knows all. And these videos can only be so long, and so it's hard to fit in absolutely everything without making this like 40 minutes long. So anyway, let's go on with it. So we start off with securing 1 kill. So we know for a fact that we now have the numbers advantage on the map. And so what that means is I can now push their side of the map here cautiously, but I am full shields. I can push this side of the map to try and get information while listening to comms from my teammates as well.
Nice. Our long hole here.
So Paul's just called out someone in long haul, so I know that's 1 enemy accounted for.
Think.
Oh, middle.
And then Gods has died, and then I'm left with this guy here. So what that means is that this is potentially the guy that Gods killed. Middle isn't a great call out here, but usually we mean pit when we say middle. And I know that someone's long haul as well, and I know that this is not the same guy. Okay? So I need to get this kill so we can carry on to secure the push, because now we're at a 3v3. So let's watch how this plays out.
Middle.
Yeah, got shots on him.
I missed the shot, go to BR straight away. I was going to go for another no-scope shot there, but it was too risky to take the time to aim. So I decided that, given my current health here, now was time to just get out. Yeah, 2v1. It's not a good scenario to be in. I can see that I've got pings down here of where enemies are. I need to get out. I need to play my life as much as I can.
I should have pit over here somewhere.
And you can hear Paul calling out where the enemies are. So he's saying our training pit. So one of the enemy that was long haul is now training pit on our side. I'm waiting in the death feed for him to die. And I know that there's 2 guys mid on our side as well. And if you look where Paul's actually stood, he's got a crossfire on me. And they've killed the player that was behind us. Yeah, we did lose Perry for it again. But I've got 2 teammates alive. One has my cross and potentially can save my life. And one is holding the top side, so I know that Paul's not going to get flanked. So what this means is that, based on the fight that I had to retreat from, there are now 2 players who could push me, but one of them is still weak at this point because I shot him at the same time as he shot me, so his shields aren't going to recharge until mine recharge. So we're going to play low, we're going to play our life, And I throw 2 nades up the lift here, and the reason for that is because I need to know if anyone's on S2, so they don't get an angle on me. Because if the grenades detonate near an enemy player, then it's going to make a sound and I'm going to hear it. The only limitation to this is if someone is on the ramp up to S2, the grenades won't hit them. Where'd I go the nades?
I'm ping.
We don't hear anything, so I'm sort of thinking, where are these 2 guys? And the other guys just respawned. So where are they? And Paul's giving me call-outs as well. Need help on P2. So I've just seen that guy above me, so straight away I need to go for the no-scope here. This is do or die. Unfortunately, he stood still, so I get him right in the face. Get out my face. So I've got a kill. Paul's just been crossfired. So I decide at this point, we just need to try and make the best of the play that we can. Sometimes you have to take risks, and some people would argue you shouldn't have taken this risk. But sometimes at this point in the game, we want to win. You have to at least make some form of play. You can't expect the play to come to you.
One shot in sword.
So we go up the lift, and Paul calls out the one shot in sword. So I can quickly swap to my battle rifle and clean him up.
All dead, all dead.
And I suppose the whole reason this plays out is because the enemy team knew I was there with sniper. I killed a guy, and they just left me there. Don't do that. Don't leave someone behind enemy lines on your side of the map, especially on a map like Empyrean, where my presence here is stopping them from spawning at the bottom of the map because of where my allies are. My allies are really far away. We're going to do more on spawns in a moment, but my allies are so far away, so they're just going to spawn top. And I'm just safe. And I can just keep harassing them and being annoying.
All dead, all dead, all dead.
So now, Perry, God's troop, is calling out they're all dead. So when this happens, when you get a round of slayers and you're forward pushed like this, okay, you need to start thinking about pulling the flag. And this is where Shot Call comes in, which is a really good website someone pointed out to me. So big shout out to the guy that's made Shot Call. It is amazing. So if we look, if we are the Blues, we've got someone here. We've got someone here ready to pull the flag. And we've got someone here. And the enemies are currently missing. But based on our positioning here, there are 3 spawn locations on Empyrean you need to be aware of. We've covered in videos before. There's the bottom spawn location, which is here. There's the flag spawn location here. And then there's like the first BR / Needles, Mangler, whatever you want to call it, Mauler. Over here, Shotgun, I think it was in Halo 3. I've forgotten all the callouts now because I've been using these ones so long. So we've got 3 spawn zones. And if you think about what's been happening recently, we've just had one of the enemies die here. And we've had an enemy die up here as well. So what the game does when enemies die, or when someone dies, is it dictates that that area is now a dangerous area. So it will do squad spawns where it will spawn you nearby to be helpful, but what it won't do is it will not spawn you in action in a dangerous area. So at this point, this area at the bottom of tower is deemed dangerous. It will not spawn them bottom. However, there are 2 spawns available, and Nebula is very, very close to the spawn here. So what he's going to do is he's going to pull the flag, because let's not forget there's the flag in here, which means it only leaves this spawn here. So we're assuming they're going to spawn top. So with that said, let's have a look how the next part plays out now that we know they're going to spawn top.
They're gonna
So you see there's a guy spawn top. So they're spawning top. We knew they were going to spawn top because of what's happened. But we have to be careful with this because now that my team is going to push up to the top side of their map, you can see Perry here, you can see Nebula here, and Paul is going to respawn and push up soon. That may change. So we have to be very careful. Spawning top.
Yeah.
Spawning top.
About that.
And I just heard someone underneath me. And the reason that this is happening now is if we go back to what we said earlier with the spawns, now that enough time has passed, the game has decided that this area here is no longer a dangerous area. And so because if you look at the way that our team is now organized, if you look at the way my team is now organized, the game is going to spawn the enemies the furthest away from a danger zone. And we can see there was a guy here. And I've just heard a guy here. This dude here is in a lot of danger at the bottom. This guy's in a lot of danger. He's got 2 enemies around him. And so what the game is going to start doing at this point is it's going to start spawning them bottom. So let's see what I do about that. So here's one guy bottom. Get a shot on him. He gets away. I should have called that out. Here's another guy that comes up the lift. So now if we update, if we look at the diagram we've got, this is actually correct. There are actually 2 enemies bottom and one of them's taken damage and he's running around. Keep that guy in your head, by the way, because you should not forget when an enemy gets away at 1 shot. For this fight though, this guy's come up the lift. And essentially, he's a sitting duck. He can't do anything about his positioning. He can't do anything about where he's going. He has fully committed to the lift. I pull out the old, boomer trick. I played Halo 3. I played hundreds of hours on this map. You come up the lift. I jump past you. I beat you down and I shoot you in the face. Simple as that. Yeah. So when you jump up the lift, you need to be very careful. That guy just gets annihilated. And here's the guy from earlier. Forgot to close tack shot call. Here's the guy from earlier. Not forgetting he was there too. We'll just replay the kill there on the guy on the lift because that didn't come through. So I was just behind him there. Comes up the lift, jump behind him, punch him, and shoot him in the face. Then the gravity does the rest. Comes back up. Here's the other player. He's weak. Some headshots. He's down. And now, let's go back to the map to update what is currently happening, because those 2 deaths near me have just made a very significant difference to the spawn calculation. And we need to talk about it. So, back to shot call once again. Now, if we think about the map in its current state, we have 2 enemies dead, 1 here and 1 here. This area is now too dangerous for them to spawn. This area is also now too dangerous for them to spawn. And if we just update where my team stood, they stood something like this. The enemy team 100% is going to spawn in here. 1,000,000%. There is no way they are not going to spawn in there. It is the only safe space that they have, even though my team is near them, because they have just died in those areas. Yeah, there's not been enough time passed for the spawns to do anything different. So what happens now is my team is going to push up long haul this way, and the enemy team is going to try and push I call it target because that's where the brute target used to be that comes up, but they're needles or they're plasmas, whatever you want to call it. This is amazing for us because look where I'm stood. I am stood right here. And I have a crossfire that covers all of that area right there. So we've already seen what happens. So let's just minimize this and watch for the carnage. My team is running up.
Go. I got it.
And we recognize this is the time to run the flag. They are all dead. Time is of the essence. Go. You can hear Perry in the comms.
I got it.
So at this point, I'd not actually thought about the spawns here. So admittedly, I did check in game if someone had spawned underneath me. And now looking back over this video, I've realized that was a silly thing to do. However, it made no difference to the end. So now look, they're all spawning top. So I have a crossfire and they just get annihilated. They just get absolutely destroyed. Just team shot. There's 2. The rest are going to spawn up there. They die as well. And just for completion here, if we weren't to score the flag and the enemies were to respawn, if we just get rid of all this stuff here. You just get rid of all this, top quality editing and things as always on this channel. Then we're currently in a scenario now where we've scored the flag, we had someone die, and we had someone on here like this. Have we ended up with 5 markers? That's weird. And the enemy team is dead here, some dudes in there. And so now we've got dead and dead. So this area is now dangerous for the enemy team. This area is kind of okay for the enemy team, maybe. And this area is kind of okay for the enemy team, maybe, because it's furthest away from the biggest clump of teammates here. If they spawn here, they're only near one of us. If they spawn here, they're in the line of sight of two of us. So it's probably going to pick this one. But it could still pick this one. It depends at the exact time. We don't know. But as you can see, we score the flag. We secure the game-winning flagpole there
Nice.
in overtime, and that's it. And essentially, that is like a crash course on sort of how to manipulate spawns and how to think about, you know, when enemies die, where are they going to spawn? And great players can count to 10 in their head, and they can figure out, you know, 10 seconds is going to pass. This has happened, and therefore, where are players going to spawn? And if you caught Charlotte this weekend, if you caught the HCS this weekend, I can't remember the teams that played, but there was one team that locked the spawn downs on the other team in Slayer so well they could not get out. They were clumping up and waiting and blocking, and it was amazing. So this is just a simple adaptation of how to apply spawn knowledge, pushing advantages, choosing a flag route, call outs, all that sort of thing. And I hope those of you that are in platinum and diamond and gold and any rank really, even above me, if you're above if you're in like Onyx 1600 whatever, if you probably know this already, but hopefully this is helpful. So I'm going to end the video there. So again, I hope you found it useful. If you like this, please let me know, because I really want to do more stuff like this. And we've just passed 700 subs, so thank you very much for all the support we've gotten on the channel so far. We're taking a break for season 3, but lots of content to come. Until then, stay tuned. But in the meantime, this has been Vanadam, and I'll see you in the next one. See you later.